Welcome to our exploration of power series. At their heart, power series are a way of representing functions using an infinite sum of terms. The general form looks like this: the sum of c sub n times the quantity x minus a raised to the nth power. Let's find out what this means. Let's break down the power series formula into its three key components. First, we have a, which is called the center of the series. It's a constant value that the series is built around. Next are the coefficients, c sub n, which are a sequence of numbers that determine the weight of each term. Finally, there's x, the variable. It's the presence of this variable that turns the series into a function. Unlike a simple series of numbers that adds up to one fixed value, a power series is dynamic. It's a function. For each different value of x that you substitute into the formula, you get an entirely new series of numbers, which may or may not add up to a finite value. The power series, f of x, is defined by this summation. A great way to understand power series is to look at a familiar example, the geometric series, which is the sum of x to the nth power. This is just a power series with a center, O equal to 0, and all coefficients c sub n equal to 1. We know that this series adds up to the function 1 divided by the quantity 1 minus x, but only under a specific condition. That condition leads us to the critical concepts of convergence and divergence. When a series converges, it means that for a given x, the sum of the infinite terms approaches a single, finite number. For example, if x is 1/2 in our geometric series, the sum converges to 2. But if the series diverges, the sum doesn't settle, it might go to infinity. If x is 2, our series 1 plus 2 plus 4 and so on clearly diverges. So for which x values does a series converge? The set of all such x values is called the interval of convergence. This interval is always centered at a. The distance from the center, a, to either edge of this interval is called the radius of convergence, or r inside this radius. The series converges. Outside, it diverges. What happens at the exact endpoints, a minus r and a plus r, requires special attention. Our primary tool for finding the radius of convergence is the ratio test. This test examines the limit of the absolute value of the ratio of successive terms. A sub n plus 1 divided by a sub n, we call this limit L. The power series is guaranteed to converge whenever this limit L is less than 1. Our goal is to solve the inequality L is less than 1, which will reveal the radius of convergence. Let's find the radius of convergence for the series. The sum of the quantity x minus 2 to the n divided by n. We set up the ratio test, with a sub n being our term. After placing the term for n plus 1 over the term for n, we can simplify. Much of it cancels out, leaving us with the limit of the absolute value of x minus 2 times n over n plus 1. As n approaches infinity, the fraction goes to 1. So our limit L is simply the absolute value of x minus 2. For convergence, we need this to be less than 1. This directly tells us that the radius of convergence, r, is 1. Since our radius is 1 and the center is 2, the series converges for x values between 1 and 3. But the ratio test doesn't tell us what happens at x equals 1 and x equals 3. We have to test them individually by plugging them back into the original series. When we plug in x equals 3, we get the harmonic series, which diverges. When we plug in x equals 1, we get the alternating harmonic series, which converges. Therefore, our final interval of convergence includes 1 but not 3. It is from 1 to 3, with a bracket at 1 and a parenthesis at 3. Power series are fundamental in science and engineering. They allow us to approximate complex functions like sine or e to the x with simpler polynomials, which is how calculators compute their values. They are also used to solve incredibly difficult differential equations by turning them into algebra problems. Some functions are even defined by their power series. Finally, they even let us integrate functions that are otherwise impossible to integrate, like e to the power of negative x squared.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.